Good morning, everyone. How are we? It's another Thursday, means another Rubber Duck Thursday where we get to go and build something. So, for anyone who's new, hasn't been on one of these streams with us before, it's very casual, it's very informal. We just go and build stuff. We go and have some fun learning together. And just if you want, if you're working today, you can go and have me on the side just as a co-worker that you can go and listen to, or you can maybe build alongside, build something, one of your own pet projects or personal projects that you're working on. So I have a good theme for today. At least I'm biased. I think it's a good theme. It's our last Rubber Duck Thursdays of the year, at least for this time zone. So we'll be back in the first week of January, I think. It's the second that is the Thursday. Either way, we'll get it scheduled ahead of time so you know when it is. Which means I want to go and build something which is kind of fun and just very themed for the time of year that we have. So what I thought is we could go and build some kind of New Year kind of countdown themed app. And we can make it fun. And I've got a few different ideas that we'll kind of play with and try there. So that's what I wanted to do today. Of course, you're all welcome to build alongside as well. So please go and spin up your editors and let's have some fun building. So let me have a look in the chat here. Good morning, Sashin, Carlos, Kelvin, looking forward. Great, looking forward as well. Panjal, hello. Shamsuddin, hello. Panjani, Mohammed, Abu, Tijumadi, Sega. How do I start open source contributions as a beginner? Well, what an amazing question. I think the thing with anything, like open source contributions or with even, content creation, right? Because that's kind of how I got into the role that I'm in. The important thing is to just start, whether that's contributing to a doc, whether that is contributing a bug fix, it might even be just raising an issue. Contributing to open source doesn't necessarily mean that you have to write code. It could be someone who's helping triage issues. It could be someone who's answering questions in the community and being that expert. So there's many different ways that you can go and get started. What I'd say is if you use the GitHub search, there is a label which is commonly used, like good first issue. Go and have a look at that. Maybe you'll find something that you want to go and work on. Otherwise, find the project that you're passionate about. Because really, it's all about passion and kind of giving back to the community, right? So find that project, have a chat with the maintainers of that project if there's maybe scope and room for you to help out, and then see where it goes from there. But what a great question, Segar, and best of luck for it. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Niv Thasri. Mobin, hello. Siddhant, Dipti, Ramadeen, Josh, Kunzumbu, Bakia, Jill, McNets, hello again. Good to have you. Ali, Ayosh, LinkedIn user, Ayosh, Sivasubramaniam, Aslam Hanif, Nivzari, Colin, Punjani, Colin. Wow, there's so many of you this morning. Right, you know what? I'm going to get building because the chat is really going this morning. So great to see you all. And wow, Colin, insomnia is great. You're 4:36 a.m. A bit of a strange time to start a stream. Well, I'm based in the UK. It's 10:30 here, so a much more reasonable time. But either way, glad to have you with us here. So thank you. Right, let us go and bring up an editor. Here we go. Actually, before I do that, let me just do one thing to make sure it's all nice and readable. Good, right. We're all zoomed in. We're all good there. So, what I mentioned is we're going to be building today. So quick recap, as I can see, we've still got new folks joining us here. So welcome, welcome. This is Rubber Duck Thursdays. We just have some fun. We go and do some building of stuff. And today, what I figured we'd do, given we're coming up to the new year, up to 2026, is we'd have a nice kind of celebratory moment. So what I figured is we could go and build some kind of countdown app. So again, if maybe you're not at work right now and you have the time to kind of build something on the side, feel free to join along with me, because I'd love to see all the different creative ideas that we could have with this. I was thinking about how we could kind of build something like this, because, you know, a countdown timer doesn't sound particularly exciting. It goes from however many hours or days or whatever to zero. Great. So I wanted to make it a bit more fun and interesting, given New Year, you know, fireworks, things like that. So I was thinking maybe we can have something that kind of gradually builds up as you get closer to the New Year. And then, yeah, something a bit fun, maybe switching between time zones as well, something very visual around that. So we'll see where we get to. We'll see what we can do. So where I'm going to start off is creating a new workspace. And I've got a prompt that I kind of started working on a bit earlier, which I'm just going to copy across, and then I'll show you that. So let me go and full screen that. We'll go and hide the sessions. There we go. Oops. Let me go do that instead. There we go. Oh, it looks like that's changed since last night, but cool. Go sessions. There we go. That's better. Right. So I'm on Visual Studio Code Insiders. So there's the nightly builds. So I always get to find where things are changing day by day. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new workspace. So create a new workspace for sites. I'm going to ask if you could please stop spamming the YouTube chat. Otherwise, we'll you to. Thank you. Right. So sorry, folks, was just keeping an eye on that stream. Hi Abdul, hi Shweta, good to see you folks. So let's go and create a new workspace for a new year countdown app using Vite, TypeScript, and Tailwind CSS. So what I'm doing, I'm specifying some of the setup requirements. So we want to use Tailwind version 4. We're going to use that dark theme. We're going to have a centered layout with that countdown, that kind of timers, that hero element. Then we're going to create some countdown functionality, a target. And the reason I've got the target is because I want to be able to customize what that time we're counting down to is a bit later on. But while that initial implementation is going to be like to the 2026, new year, maybe it's a countdown app that we could use more generally, is kind of what I was thinking. So a few functions that we'll have in there. The default target is midnight on January the 1st of the next year. And then some information on what the display looks like. So, really large digits, bold, labels, some subtle animation in there. And then until whatever the target is there. So we're going to try and split the files out. So initially, just have a countdown TypeScript file, a main file, and then we'll kind of use request animation frames and all those things. Keeping it simple is the idea to start with, and then we'll go and build from there. So let's go and send that off and let Copilot get to work there. What we should see first off is it will go and ask us to create this new workspace. So I'm going to allow that. I'm just going to take my screen, my desktop off for a moment, just because obviously all my files and everything. So documents, code. We're going to call select. Right. And then what it does is it creates a new window for us. And we should see in just a moment, there we go. We get this nice little pop-up to say, do you want to continue setting up that workspace? Absolutely do. We'll carry on with that now. So, yeah, we're going to create this this workspace. What has happened? That's okay. Right, so Copilot's now going to go and create sets of to-dos to work on. What I like about this create new workspace thing is it goes and creates these Copilot instructions files for us as well. You can see, right, we've got this countdown app, New Year countdown app, build tool is Vite, language is TypeScript, etc., etc. So it's taken those requirements that we passed in to begin with there. Right, so now it wants to go and run the create Vite command line. So cool, that makes sense. Vanilla TS, sure. Vanilla TypeScript for anyone who's maybe not as familiar with JavaScript and TypeScript ecosystem there. Let me go open up that terminal, just check. Current directory is not empty. Please choose how to proceed. We'll ignore the files because it's our GitHub piece. Roll down Vite, no. Install with npm, start now, sure. Do that. Great, Colin, love to hear it. And spoiler alert for everyone watching, I've already made another countdown app this morning, which I'm going to leave until a bit later because I want to make sure we got something to show. And I had an idea this morning that I thought would be quite fun. So let's hold that thought. We'll come back to that one at the end there. Right, so let me see. Let's close the server for now because we don't need that running. And then Copilot can go and move on. Right. Now we're going to install Tailwind CSS. So that is like a UI framework that we can go and use to go and style our app here. Yeah, so Siva Subramaniam. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. I apologize if I got that very wrong. JavaScript heap out of memory at 31st December, 11:59 p.m. You joke. So again, I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but I've been working on a little thing this morning and kind of had that because, lots of animations going on and everything and style changes on the site and was running very, very slow. But I managed to get my performance all optimized on it. So yeah, I've already experienced that today and it's not 31st of December yet. So there we go. It's great. Right, let's go see what Copilot Chat is saying here. And I'm just gonna a sec. Oz. I'm gonna show you. So yeah, just FYI, Colin, Vite, build tool for the web. So you can go and build these kind of lightweight JavaScript, TypeScript apps. So yeah, worth checking out if you haven't tried it before. But just wants to make sure give a shout out to those folks there. So what's it doing? It is removing the TypeScript logo. Sure, why not? Because I guess we won't need it as part of the project. Created some files for us. Let's go see what it's made. We've got an HTML doc. We've got our days, our hours, our minutes, our seconds. We're including the main TypeScript there. Whoa. There we go. Not sure what quite happened there. Right. And then we're getting the of time that's needed there, updating that countdown and going through. So cool. Okay, makes sense so far. Let's go see where it is. It's going to do some type checking for us. Yeah, of course, Colin. No problem. No problem. Hello, Oksana. Hello, Abhishek. Yes, good to see you both. For anyone tuning in, we're building a countdown until New Year. We figured that was something quite kind of themed that we could build today and something a bit different. Right, let's go and run the app and see what is going on. Yep, so it's running there. Let's go and open that. There we go. Right, so we got our countdown. 13 days, 13 hours, 10 minutes, 20 seconds until 2026. Cool. I mean, not very exciting though, really. It works well, it's fine. But, it's a bit bland. So, I figured we could go and make it a bit more interesting. But before we do that, let me go and just initialize my Git repository. In fact, I'm going to just copy from another project that I've got, a git ignore file. And for anyone who's not aware, the git ignore file is just very helpful, the name implies, to help you not track certain files in your Git version control. Why that's useful is when you're working with, actually we've already got it in there. Never mind, ignore me. Where it's useful is if you're doing projects like this, for example, with TypeScript or NPM or whatever kind of ecosystem you're working with, there are often going to be files that you don't want to go and include in source. So for example, in TypeScript, JavaScript, your node modules folder is normally one you wouldn't want to include because you'd bring those dependencies in at build time instead. So that's what git ignore does, and that's why we've got that included, which I did see. Did I? There we go. Yes. There we go. Good. So let me go and just track these changes first, because that looks good to me. Right, we'll go and commit that. Nice. And we don't have a remote repository yet. But what I will do is, when we've got to the very end of all of this, today, I want to consolidate that other project I made with this one, bring it all together. So I will publish that afterwards. But for now, let's focus on building. So, good. So what we've got here is Copilot kind of recaps what it's done. So it's got our countdown logic there in one file. It's got that helper, those different helpers, I should say. We've got our main kind of entry point, and then we've got our index file. So that's all good. However, I'm sure if I asked you folks right now where you're tuning in from, we would get a whole load of different answers. Because that's the beauty of GitHub, that's the beauty of our open source community and the developer community, is, we're based all across the world. And so what I was thinking was it would be great if we could go and maybe add time zones. Because, being inclusive of all those different time zones. So again, I've got a little prompt here, which I'm just going to bring across. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to create a new chat session. And the reason for that is I don't need that context anymore. And when we think about working with these AI tools, that context window that we work with is very important. And actually, before I do that, I'm just going to copy a few files over from another project. Bear with me whilst I do that. And then we will get... Right. Let me bring this up. Sweet. Good. So Shweta from India, Jeptha from Nigeria. There we go. So already we're seeing the diversity of where we're kind of based here, folks. This is great. And in fact, I think Colin, you said 4:30 p.m. So I don't quite remember where you said you're based, but I'm assuming somewhere in the United States, probably. Given that time zone difference. So again, you can see just the breadth of folks we've got here. What I added in was a couple of things. I've added in an instructions file. And remember, when we created that new workspace, Copilot creates that kind of global Copilot instructions file. But what I want to do is I want to create some more targeted instructions. So if we're ever writing any Copilot custom instructions or instructions for agents files or Gemini or whatever, then follow these kind of recommended practices here, providing examples, being specific, sections that I'd expect to see in those files. So Copilot will then go and kind of take that as context and kind of follow those practices. So I've got that for creating my Copilot instructions, for creating custom agents, and for creating files, which we might do during the session, which is why I just wanted to have them there. They'll probably be useful. And then the other thing that I've got, which I mentioned I've already used this morning, is a UI performance specialist custom agent. So we've now got this concept of custom agents inside Visual Studio Code Copilot there. GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code, I should say. And we've got a kind of a big set of implementation. And I'll be honest, that a lot of that is actually probably not accurate because it's focusing more on the other project that I've got, so I might need to update that before. Anyway, right, let's go. And you know what? Let's create that new. And let's go and first I'd like to update agent. So to be more representative. This project borrowed the file from another project. Please remove all text from the file. There we go. Yeah, exactly, Colin. It's custom agents are really interesting. I've been doing a lot of work over the past few days, just in terms of ways that I can bring them into my own workflow. And I've got one where I've got like manager kind of agent and then some sub agents that run from that agent. So it's kind of verifying the other's work. So it's kind of that review cycle. So there's lots of interesting ways that you can use these kind of agents and these custom agents. And yeah, just this morning I was using this kind of UI performance one and kind of rubber ducking effectively, saying, right, this is what I'm seeing in the app. This is what I'm seeing in my dev tools. This is the context you need. What should I be thinking about here based on the code and common practices? So yeah, it's a really great kind of part to work with it. Because really all these custom agents are, I think of them as helpers. They're kind of specialized on a certain area, a certain task. So it kind of orients Copilot being more specialized in a certain area. Right, so you're an expert UI animation TypeScript specialist who combines creative experience design with obsessive performance optimization. Great. Buttery smooth, 60 FPS, sure. Great. Looks good. That all looks good. This will change as we keep iterating. Separation of concerns, good. Okay. Good. Good. That looks good to me. And one of the things that, by the way, pro tip for you all, um, if you want to learn how to write these agents, if you click zoom in and show you here, let me just hide my camera. You know what? I'm just going to move myself. There we go. And I think you can see that. See where my mouse is just down here? You've got this kind of agent drop down. If you click on that, you have this configure custom agents link. Go and click on. And you will see, well, actually, oops. Go. You will see that the plan agent that is built into Visual Studio Code, you can actually go and see that file. So you can go and see how those custom agents are structured, like some of the practices they use, like having XML in there to help the agent understand what its stopping rules are, what its workflows are, etc., etc. So that's kind of what I've incorporated in the custom agent file here. You can see we've got that kind of overview, the role boundaries, kind of project context, which arguably could be in the overall global instructions file. You know, there's things that I could move around, but the nice thing is we've got this workflow there. So there's kind of a couple of modes. There's that experience design, and then I've got the phases in there, and the outputs and the implementation, or the performance audit mode. So it's kind of got a couple of specialities that I've baked in. And then, yeah, performance techniques and all of those kinds of things there then as well. So in terms of the question, Ali, can you get the instructions file? I will be publishing the project later on at some point, maybe not today, but you know, at some point in the near future. So I'll make sure to kind of share that in our next stream in January, but also on social. As soon as that's up, I'll make sure it's there for you all there as well. But I have also been meaning to put, to kind of push some of these examples to the Awesome Copilot repository. If you're not familiar with that, search for Awesome Copilot repository. It has a load of great examples of custom instruction files, custom agents, prompt files, all those kind of things. And yeah, I just need to get the time to go and push those up there. So that is on my list of things, excuse me, to do as well. But great, so we've updated that custom agent now. Let me go and create, oops, no, we don't want to do that. That was what we did before. Now in my dropdown, I can select a UI performance specialist. And maybe I should change the name because it's not just performance, to be fair. But let me go and bring in my next prompt. So we're going to add an interactive time zone selector, like a time travel theme. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Is it'd be great if like we could, you know, animate our way between those different time zones. Like I don't really have much else of an idea right now apart from that. So in fact, before we do hand it off to that specialist, I'm going to go to plan mode because I don't have a fully fleshed out idea yet. And the plan agent is really good at kind of asking those questions of those edge cases where maybe you haven't quite thought through everything. Is definitely true for me. One thing I did want though is like a mini world map, either like a globe or something kind of fun, so that you could kind of spin, you know, the time around. I don't quite know, but you can kind of see there's something there that. Time zone functionality, so we need to enhance the countdown to be, you know, global in nature. So storing that time zone in local storage for persistence, and then a list of featured time zones then as well. A brief whoosh or time warp visual effect, success animation when transitioning between those times. And then some kind of educational thing there as well. Like it's X hours ahead of you, behind you, etc. And some kind of already celebrated. So Let me just add here. I have some rough ideas of want you to help me flesh out. Please ask any that. So now the plan agent will review that and start asking me. As you can see, I'm going to run a sub agent here to research the code base first. It's it's a way that we can get the context initially, because it's all about context engineering. So it's understanding what is in that kind of code base right now. And then based on that, it'll take the prompt that I took in also as context, and then ask some questions back where maybe there's ambiguity or, it's a little bit vague, etc. there as well. I'd love to know, is anyone building something alongside here? Let me know. Right, so the plan. Add an immersive time machine themed time zone selector that lets users see countdowns to midnight in different time zones worldwide. Needs to install a couple of dependencies, countdown logic extension, creating a time zone selector UI. That's rotating ring of 7 visible time zones. That sounds kind of fun. Style the time machine. Wire up interactions. Yeah, and add transition effects. Okay. So dial versus map priority. Should the circular dial be the primary selector with the world map as secondary, or would you prefer a more prominent world map with the dial as a compact alternative? What do we think, chat? Which option should we go for? Let me know. A rotating dial might be tricky on small screens. Should we have a simplified drop-down fallback for mobile, or design a touch-friendly vertical scroll version? I'm kind of thinking right now, let's just do desktop for the time being. Just because of the time that we'll have today, let's just focus on, desktop. When a time zone has passed midnight, should we show already celebrating with a confetti animation, a rewind counter showing how long since midnight, or both with a toggle? I think celebrating. Celebrating with ongoing fireworks and confetti. Would you want subtle audio feedback with spinning the dial, or keep it visual only? That can be a feature not in scope. You listed 8 time zones. Should these 8 show should these dial only show these 8, or show these prominently, allowing access to? Let's show all, make these 8. So I'm gonna make an exec decision here. Let's go and what's more fun, the dial or the map? Dial or the map? B. B, going for the map. Okay. Well, let's do it then. Here we go. So what it's going to do now, because we're still in plan mode, is it's still using that kind of custom agent to go and iterate on the plan. So again, there might still be areas where there's ambiguity. There we go. It's going and referencing, I guess, some date time formats, probably some things there that plus that kind of time zone implementation there. I mean, let's review. So what this is doing, by the way, is it's using the web fetch tool. Yeah, I'm not sure I trust that one. It's using the web fetch tool to go and search for actual web pages for context. So let's skip that one. Sure. Okay, so now it's reading the countdown file, it's reading our index file. Let's see what we get. Hey, Valerutu, how are you doing? Good to see you. The screen there now. See a little bit more of the edit. Gonna work on that for a bit. Back with a new plan for us. Great. Here we go. Bear with me just 1 second. Right, so 1 sounds good. Stylized would be great. Even better would be that it somehow marks any areas, any time zones that have already passed midnight. That would be pretty cool. Celebration duration. Should fireworks confetti run continuously while viewing the celebration time zone? Burst once and loop subtly. There's probably a performance trade-off between two, somewhere in the middle. This is the beauty, right, of working with LLMs in this way, the large language models in this way, is because this plan agent is effectively asking me these kind of prompting questions, it's causing me to think. While it's giving me an A or B option, I'm going to say, actually, it's somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. So Safari fallback isn't supported in Safari 15, less than 15.4, should be included a hard-coded fallback. Let's just focus on something like 15 now. It's a lot of active problem. So again, these are the kind of things that we're used to as developers, is kind of making these trade-offs in terms of requirements. Right. Love that name. Midnight Wave gradient overlay that sweeps across the map. And which regions are celebrating? Is still waiting. Gold glowing for celebrating, muted blue for waiting. Wonderful. Right, ready to implement? Now, this is where you might be interested there, actually, Colin, and anyone else. What we can then do is hit this start implementation button here. And what it will do is it will update this input box to give a kind of a mini prompt and change which agent we've got selected there as well. And that's something you can customize when you create your own custom agents. So as I click that, notice now we've got the start implementation. And now rezoom in again. Agent is now selected instead of plan. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to hand it off to the performance specialist. Just say, can you review the overall plan outline and give deeper implementation details based on your Oops. Yeah. Cool. And now, because of the way that I've kind of set up that custom agent, it's now thinking about all of these things that would be really important from a UI performance perspective. Frame times, map SVG size, what those celebration parts, how many celebration particles on the screen, DOM elements that are added, animation properties, and then starts thinking about how that is all implemented then as well. So that looks good. Let's see. Bear with me. Very croaky all of a sudden. 1 second. Okay, there we go. That's better. Right. This looks good. My one concern is we've got reduced motion support as well. And we got, these performance decisions then as well. This looks great. One final thing. Can you please also, one final thing, make sure the implementation modular implement tell plan driven in mind before you start writing tests through the. So before I send that, I'm gonna do this. Please proceed with. What I've found personally, anecdotally, just working with these things, is if you can kind of number and kind of give like a structure or a set hit, it seems to perform a little bit better. So what I'm going to say first is we need to make sure the implementation is modular. We have separation of concerns, smaller file. Think through the potential structure before implementing. 2, before writing any actual code, you should write tests based on above. Once you have failing tests, make sure that you pass. There we go. Now, of course, I could make a custom agent, again, so like a test-driven specialist. That means I don't have to kind of give all of that context. But anyway, let's go and implement that and see what. Oh, it's creating its to-dos there, so it's thinking of the modular file structure based on those kind of earlier plans. Being a test folder, which I personally prefer having tests co-located. In fairness, I didn't specify that. That's on me. So we got data for the cities, we got some utils, we got state management there as well, components, and then okay, makes sense. Good. Now, of course, it's going to be installing the dependencies that we need there. Great, so it's updating the package JSON with these kind of new run commands there. So that looks good to me. Oh, answer the fact, please compare your version. Okay. I mean, it seems to work fine. Weird. Oh, maybe it didn't. I'm just going to copy those, close that, reopen, and make that manually. There we go. All right, time zone utilities. We've got our interface in there for that. We're throwing just errors at the minute because they're not implemented, so that's good. Oops. Comprehensive tests. So can anyone guess what I might have already built? I'm curious. So again, you know, it is something countdown timer based. So that's as much as I'll give you. What do you think that I may have already built? I'm curious how close you all are to what's already there. Let me know. Cool. So it's writing tests for the city state, sorry, for the time zone state, the city state there. Sounds crazy. That's the 3D tic-tac-toe with elicitation. We have definitely built that. That's not the one that's that I built though for our timer. But yes, we have. I can't argue with that one. That's very true. That is very true. That made me chuckle. That one. That was very good. Hey, Kushal. Welcome. Good to have you with us. For anyone who's joining Rubber Duck Thursdays, this is where we, you know, as you can tell by the vibe of the stream here, very informal, very relaxed, and you know, we just go and build stuff and learn together. That's the whole point of these streams. Welcome. Right, so we got all failing tests, good. Because we're doing that kind of red-green implementation there. So now we're going to start implementing those time zone utilities. So let's actually look at the test, see what's going on there. There's mocking local storage for the app state, makes sense because we did specify storing the city, I think, or the time zone in the local storage. Non-empty string for the storage key. Yeah, Kushal, what we're doing is we are building excuse me, a countdown timer for the new year. So in these streams, we build something live, and I figured, given this will be my last stream of the year, build something to kind of celebrate 2026. So that's what we're doing. Now, in fact, let me just jump across and look at the time zone ones here a sec. Get user time zone should return a valid INA time zone string. Array of time zone strings include common time zones. UTC should return sorted. Okay. You can see there's a number of different bits in there, and I'm expecting that it's now implemented some of the time zone capabilities. Yes, yeah, that's brilliant. So let's go and run that test then. Oops, up a little bit there. There we go. So one file failed, two edge case failed. The issue was with comparing the exact moment of midnight. The test expects less than or equal to the reference date being Jan means get new year and time zone returns Jan 1, 2027. Ah, that's not quite right. So again, you know, it caught some logic there. Well, the past new year if already celebrated. Yes, exactly. That's actually an interesting problem, isn't it? How do you define if it's already celebrated and that kind of 2025, 2026, 2027, but which time zone are you in? Which one do we care about? So yeah, that's a fair comment there. Oops. So time zone ran successfully there. Now it's running the ones for cities. And cities, what are we doing? Has reached midnight. Oh, I love that for the util. And city by ID, great. We've got some featured cities there. We've got the app state. Saving the selected time zone, removing that as well. And local storage is international namespace. Where's that all coming from? Oh well, countdown time zone is the storage key. Oops, and then we'll go and run those tests. Looks like they worked. Yes, Maze, I am currently in Visual Studio Code. I'm using Visual Studio Code Insiders, and we're using GitHub Copilot. Hi, Abnaya. How are you doing? Good to have you with us. Now we're extending the countdown module. What is that? Why did we do that? I mean, the test passed, so I guess it was from the original plan, I suppose. And we'll run all the tests, confirm everything works. And let me go and bring back the... I haven't got the app running. I suspect it will probably run the app in a moment. That's the founder's superpower. Solve one problem, discover two more. Better. Isn't that also how development works? That, you know, we squash one bug and then another two appear in its place as well? It feels like it, at least. Okay, so where are we at? We got UI components being created, add styles and SVG assets, and then wire it all up in main. It's creating the time zone selector for us as well. Creating celebrations. Now it's updating styles. Oh, that's an interesting one, Colin. Could it detect the language of the user to better support localization? I'm sure. And that is absolutely a feature that should go into that app as well. So, again, probably not during the stream because we're already about an hour in, actually. That's gone very quickly. Yeah, maybe that's a post-publishing implementation there. But yeah, great suggestion. Great suggestion. All right, updating the HTML. So it's going and reading the index files, seeing what's in there, pairing it all together for it. I suspect it'll be adding some new elements in there for that kind of time zone selector, for the map stuff, for, the has been added. Here we go, New Year countdown. Already celebrating the world map and the time zone selector. Nice. Yeah, it's a great. That was a great suggestion there, Colin. Right, let me see. I'm just doing some live checking. I'm just going to bring up the screen. There we go. So found some issues with the type checking. And the reason it's doing that, no, actually, I don't think I included the instructions for type checking. Glad it did. There we go. It's gone and fixed those. So hopefully, all being well. Yep, compiles and the tests all pass. Good. At the dev server, do that. And we are running on 5173. I'm not quite sure what will that. Yeah, I kind of understand what it's trying to do, but I think we might need to specify a third party, some kind of package there. Also, doesn't look like the time zone calculations are working. That's quite funny. But what is working is the difference in the hours there. Oh no, it is working. Sorry, it is working. It's because all of the time zones I was picking were very close, isn't it? Yay! Hey. Oh yeah. That works. Okay. So yeah, so the actual time zone bit works. The map, not so much. But in fairness, again, I was quite ambitious with the world map and didn't give it a ton of context, I guess. So anyway, we'll leave that there as a bit of fun for now, I guess. We'll skip past that. That can be a bug that is fixed a bit later. Right, let's see. What do we want to do now? Right, here is my next me go and plan again. So I'm going to show you all the prompt here. So add a fireworks background theme that intensifies as midnight approaches. So we're going to use fireworks.js for that. I don't know if create a, maybe not themes, because I don't think I've got a theme, although we probably should have themes, to be fair. You know what? I'm going to keep that. We should have themes. Fireworks behavior based on time remaining. So if it's more than 24 hours, no fireworks, just ambient stars. Nice. 24 to 12 hours, occasional fireworks every 30 seconds, every 10 to 15, two at a time. And then obviously it's kind of building and building as we get to that midnight time there. So we want a dark night sky gradient, dark blue to black, fireworks color, particles should fade out, add a subtle city skyline. Oh, love that. Create a theme controller. Sure. Yeah. Right. So, what I'm gonna do is start a new chat again, because we don't need that old context. Again, being very mindful of that context window. And once again, you will see that we are in plan mode here, okay? So let's go and set that off. So, Mazie, thank you, Chris. Could you tell us what language would land me a better job? I do C and a little C++. To be honest, I guess a part of it depends, because C and C++, obviously lower level languages. So if you want to get into things like game design or something like that, better to be in that kind of lower level space, I guess, for the big kind of game studios, or if you're doing something hardware based, etc. as well. So it kind of depends, what interests you. And that's what I would kind of go back to, similar to that open source question from earlier. What is it that you find interesting? What is it that appeals? Like, there are folks on my team who, that GitHub lamp that is behind me there, my boss's boss built that. So loves 3D printing, loves kind of automating kind of stuff. So made that. I appreciate that kind of stuff. But the parts that I really like are those kind of visual apps like we're building here. And building something that is like kind of a helper or a helpful tool. So actually, while we're waiting for this to kind of do its thing, I, of course, am a nerd. I'm a geek, like many of us. Oops, there we go. And I love collecting trading cards. That's one of my kind of hobbies and pastimes, as well as being a musical theatre geek. So over the weekend, I was actually using a load of these custom agents to build an app, because I also like statistics and numbers and stuff like that. I was kind of curious, if you kind of put in the pull rates from like a trading card game, can you kind of plot at what point maybe you should buy singles, what the odds are of getting a new card at a certain point? There's a theory called, I think it's the coupon collection problem. That's effectively that. So I think what I'm kind of getting at is find the thing that you enjoy, find the thing that brings you that joy, and then the languages just kind of fall into place as a result. So hopefully that helps. Right, so Siva Subramonium. It'd be great if the agent is asking recommendation on which library do you want to proceed. And it might do. I mean, in my prompt, I actually specified which library I wanted. So that's probably why it didn't there. But it is asking me some follow-up questions here. So should static particles be rendered via fireworks low intensity mode or separate? Yeah, I think the CSS stuff. Hence. Mobile performance. Should we reduce particle counts on touch devices rather than explicit low effects toggle? I Mobile isn't something we're prioritizing now, consistent with earlier. Celebration coordination. Triggers confetti at midnight. Should fireworks replace it or layer on top? Layer, please. Paneet, there is no GitHub repo link yet for this demo, so this is literally being built live, so it doesn't exist right now, but that is my plan, is to publish it when it is a thing. So not there yet, but will be. So yeah, you're experiencing this live. Toggle button placement. Why have we got a toggle button? I may have missed that. Just installing those dependencies and the types as well as a dev dependency. The theme, intensity levels, color palettes. Field, city silhouette, toggle button in the app UI. For what though? Oh, effect button to control and toggle starfield visibility. Why do we have a toggle button? I'm not quite sure why that's needed. Given the fireworks theme, the user has already completely chosen. And this is why I like the kind of plan agent, because you really get to have this kind of rubber ducking kind of conversation of, you know, this is the plan. Here are some of my open questions, and I'm like, actually, do we need that? So good catch. The toggle button came from original request, which mentioned add a toggle effect button for accessibility. Okay, an app escape hatch beyond the OS little. You've convinced me. And not sure if that's sarcasm, so I think you should use MCP and add some more tools, because for the past, I don't know, 8 streams that I've been doing, we've probably been doing MCP. So we've done exactly that. So feel free to check those out. If you go to gh.io/rubberduck-Thursdays, you'll be able to see those appear there. Yeah. Right. Floating bottom right with a spark. Integrate near the time zone. Yeah, we've done lots of work on MCP. And, you know, what I did earlier as part of my debugging for this other project I built, which I will show you in a bit, is use the Playwright MCP server. Review the plan. Here's tangible implementation. And this is the other thing, actually, to that point, Anand. These different custom agents that I'm using, so like UI Performance Specialist, the plan agent, and then other agents that I might, you can actually specify. Oops. Yeah, that's it. You can specify at the top of the Markdown the tools that it has access to, including those MCP servers. Again, this is where it becomes this really kind of specialized agent for these different tasks. Right. This is the plan. Cool. Great, looks good. City silhouettes. Just kind of building out buildings there. Countdown readability. buttons, the index, sense, and the toggle pieces, initializing the fireworks, sure. A couple of things. Please add a query param so that I can specify how many minutes away we are from midnight as an override for my manual tests. 2 will be, what will it be? It will be, make sure to take a test-driven development approach. We may start now. There we go. Cool. Right, installing the framework. Firework. I kind of glanced it and read framework. Firework.js. Okay. Test for intensity config. Cool. We got test the intensity config, test for the query param override, implementing the fireworks theme, the query param, adding the staffing, updating the XML, and then integrating that into our. Hey Arman, hey Indu, hey Aria, hello. It's Alberto as well. Good to have you all with us. In case you haven't been to Rubber Duck Thursdays before, it's a kind of informal stream that we do here where we just go and build stuff. So today we're building a little countdown app towards 2026 and kind of bringing in fireworks and things on the screen as well. It didn't quite get the world map right, so you can go and look back at that on the screen, but that's okay. That's something that we can refine. We're making some good progress given we've only been building for what, probably an hour or less than an hour, because we had a lot of talking in between as well. Yeah, it's been productive. Right, we're implementing that fireworks theme. Okay, so gonna ask again, folks. Gonna get the answers in the chat. What kind of theme of countdown app do you think I've already built? What do we think I'll be revealing in a little bit? Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so we're creating those overrides. Let's run the tests. Hopefully they're green. One failed. Okay. One file failed. And needs a browser environment. Yep, fine. So it's going to bring in the appropriate environment setup there. Which I guess will be JS DOM, I suppose. It's still doing it. Interesting. I would have expected it to update the environment there, but fine. Yes, Mustafa. We're live, but you can watch it afterwards if you like as well. So it will be available on the LinkedIn channel. It will also be on our YouTube channel. So gh.io/rubberduckthursdays. You can check it out. But of course, we love having you all live because of all these great questions that we've got. So thank you, Anila, for adding in there as well. Appreciate that. Right, so we've got styles. Well, the star field. Ease in, out, infinite, alternate. Cool. So effectively, we're kind of bringing in those stars in and out. Updating that HTML structure. We got the buildings. We got the effects toggle there. And then we got the reduced motion bits in there as well. For accessibility, good. Right. Update the HTML structure, good. Integrate into main TS. Good. Good. Fireworks theme, yeah. And update the DOM element section and add the fireworks initialization. Cool. I think we're nearly there. Fingers crossed. Let's see how this goes. And how does the time override work? So, minutes to midnight is the property that we need to run. Or add, I should say, to our URL, the query parameter. Okay, so a couple of TypeScript errors there, typing errors. Hey Musa, hello from Italy. Glad to have you with us. Okay, bring in that. No TypeScript errors. Going to run the tests again. All should work. And now we're running build. Good. And now we'll run the dev server, I assume. And we'll test and verify. Cool. Right. Is the server running already? I forget. No. Maybe not. Check. No, it's not. Okay. Let's see how we go. That map really makes me laugh. But anyway, cool. Right. I don't know if you can see, but there are some stars there in the background. It shows up on my screen. It might not show up well on the stream, but there are some stars in the background there, so that's cool. And there are, at the very bottom, this kind of cityscape as well. The city skyline. Then off the stars, they're no longer there. Then on the stars, they're back. And so obviously the map needs to get fixed. That's really made me laugh. However, let me do this. Was it minutes to midnight? Let's just check what Copilot told us. It didn't. Oh, nope, I'm spoiling it. I'm spoiling the surprise. It'll come back. Right, minutes to midnight. Let's add that into there. Oh. 173 minutes to midnight. There we go. Oh. Ah, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't quite specify that we wanted to count down from that time. But we had a firework. I don't know if you all saw that. Right, let me be a bit more specific. When we do the override, it should start the countdown on that time, not keep the countdown at that time. Apparently, countdown timer does not run if the override parameter is set. Please add tests to verify this. So again, this is where Context is so important that we're really specifying what our requirements are. There we go. Yes, you're right. It should count down from the time, not freeze it. Let me write tests for this behavior, then fix the implementation. Cool. What language expertise could land you at GitHub, Maisie? To be honest, there's so much being used at GitHub. I think there's, Ruby is very well known. I think there's elements of Go, there's elements of, kind of front end languages as well. So again, I'd say go with what you enjoy. And I think what I feel is what's more important is understanding those kind of fundamentals and those principles rather than saying a specific language, if that makes sense. And it's good to have that depth in how certain languages work. But I think as long as you kind of have that algorithmic kind of mindset and you're able to kind of solve the problems and translate between different languages, I think that's a great skill to have. Right, let's run the tests. They should probably fail because we haven't implemented yet. Good. That's what we like to see. Sometimes when we don't have the implementation, when we have the implementation, we don't like seeing failing tests. All right. There we go. We're counting down. So let me remind myself what I assume is going to be in here. No. Oh, one test is failing. Huh. Maybe it's the fireworks theme then. Yeah, there we go. 10 minutes, we're having continuous fireworks, medium intensity. For 1 minute to 10 seconds, we're building excitement or colors. And then in finale mode, the last 10 seconds, we're kind of building. Then we have maximum celebration at midnight. So let's go and see that. I am going to cheat a little. There we go. So let's see how this goes. And again, Firework.js is the package that we're using here for this. You love GitHub, the education plan is epic. Great, Embrizo. Glad to hear it. I'll pass it on to the team. I think I would love more build up in that last minute, personally. But we should see more happening now. Yes, it seems to be speeding up. There we go. What was that confetti? But there we go. We've got a happy new year with lots of fireworks and things going on. So, there's the basis of what we can work from. There's a few bugs to iron out. There's a few things to work on. What happens if I change the time here? I guess it's already way... Yeah, because the override, it breaks the time zone stuff as well. But again, this is where we iterate on requirements and we're able to work very quickly there. Right, so let me stop this one. And so my final time that I'm going to ask, there we go, because we'll be wrapping the stream up in just a few minutes. what do you think the next one is? This other countdown timer that I've been building is. Would love some guesses. So we've done like a kind of a skyline themed fireworks here. What else may I have built? And while you all type in the chat, I'm going to go and bring up the other one. So, of course, the only way that we could finish this off I can put it in my browser here. There we go. Is the right one? That's why. That's why. Google Doodle countdown, not quite. What company are we? We are GitHub, and so of course we've got to have a nice kind of countdown here. So let me go and change that to 90 seconds. And there we go. We've got our countdown for the new year. We got some like contribution graph icons flickering up all across the grid there as well. And I'll count down the new year in. And again, what I've done is I've kind of designed it so that it will gradually get bigger and bigger, and there's more kind of contribution items appearing until you get to midnight. And so I thought this was a nice fun project where each of us can bring our own little kind of creative flair to something that is kind of universal, of celebrating New Year. So folks, hopefully that inspires you. Hopefully you want to go and make something yourselves and try building something out, you know, holidays and some time off over this kind of festive period. What could you build? What could you go and try? This is our last Rubber Duck Thursdays stream for this time, you know, the European time zone that we'll have in 2025. And of course, we'll be back in 2026. So thank you all for joining. And we'll see you in 2026. Take it easy, folks, and be coding. And bye for now.